The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Zethkar of the Vorthic Empire stood before the assembled delegates. His chitinous exoskeleton gleamed under the artificial lights, mandibles clicking nervously as he addressed the crowd. Esteemed colleagues, Zethkar began, his translator device converting his clicks and whistles into standard galactic common. I come before you today to formally request asylum for my people. The human fleet... they are coming. A ripple of confusion swept through the chamber. The humans have been members of the Galactic Council for barely 30 cycles, a young species still learning the complexities of interstellar politics. They were known for their stubbornness and emotional decision-making, but hardly a military threat to an empire that had ruled 3 star systems for millennia. Counselor Yextal, the ancient crystalline representative, pulsed with blue light as she spoke. Ambassador Zethkar, your empire commands over 200 warships. The humans possess perhaps 50 vessels of comparable class. What could possibly? You don't understand, Zethkar interrupted, his voice breaking through the translators. Monotone. It's not about numbers. It's about what we did. What we did to the Kefmori. The chamber erupted in whispers. The Kefmori had been a small, peaceful species that occupied a single world in a remote system. Their planet had been rich in quantum crystals, essential for faster-than-light communication. 3 cycles ago, the Vorthic Empire had simply taken what they needed. The Kefmori were insignificant, Counselor Brixman of the Trade Federation stated coldly, a single world, barely 1 million inhabitants. They had no military, no allies. The galaxy moves on. The humans don't move on, Zethkar replied, his mandibles trembling. That's what we failed to understand. Commander Sarah Chun stood on the bridge of the UES Retribution, watching the Vorthic fleet arrange itself in defensive formation around their homeworld. Behind her, the largest human armada ever assembled hung in space like a constellation of vengeance. Admiral, her communications officer called out, the Vorthic are requesting parley. Deny it, Admiral Martinez replied from his flagship. His voice carried across the fleet channel, reaching every human vessel. They had their chance for talks 37 hours ago when they murdered the last Kefmori elder. Sarah remembered the footage that had reached Earth just days ago. The Vorthic had hunted down the remaining Kefmori refugees scattered across the galaxy, claiming they were eliminating potential resistant cells. The last elder, barely 4 feet tall with luminescent skin that pulsed with gentle light, had been executed while pleading for the lives of the younglings in his care. The humans had watched. The humans had remembered. And now the humans had. Come. Zethkar's voice grew more desperate as he continued his plea to the council. You must understand the relationship between humans and the Kefmori. It began 47 cycles ago, before either species had achieved interstellar travel. He activated a holographic display showing 2 primitive spacecraft drifting in the void between star systems. One bore the early insignia of human exploration, the other the organic curves characteristic of Kefmori design. Both vessels had suffered critical failures. By all accounts, both crews should have died. But the Kefmori captain, a female, named Siltara, chose to share her ship's life support systems with the human crew, even though it meant reducing her own people's chances of survival. The hologram shifted, showing the 2 crews working together, sharing resources and knowledge as they fought to repair their damaged ships. They saved each other, Zethkar continued. When rescue ships arrived, Captain Siltar refused to take credit. She told the human rescuers that survival was its own reward. The human captain, a man named David Chen, promised her that humanity would never forget her kindness. Counselor Yextal's light dimmed to a soft amber. One act of kindness 47 cycles ago cannot justify what the humans are doing now. You still don't understand, Zethkar's voice cracked. David Chen was the grandfather of Commander Sarah Chun, who now leads their fleet. The Kefmori who saved his life was the great-grandmother of the elder we executed last week. On the Retribution's bridge, Sarah Chun held a small device in her palm. It was ancient by human standards, a simple quantum communicator that had belonged to her grandfather. According to family records, it had been a gift from Captain Siltara, modified with Kefmori biotechnology to last for centuries. For 47 years, that communicator had remained silent. Then, just over 3 cycles ago, it had come alive with desperate signals. The Kefmori were calling for help, their world under attack. Their people scattered and dying. Sarah had brought the device to Earth's government. Within hours, human ships had launched toward Kefmori space, but they had arrived too late. The world was a burned husk, its cities reduced to ash, its people murdered or enslaved. The few Kefmori survivors had been hunted down systematically. Each death had been reported to Earth, each execution broadcast by Vorthic forces as a warning to other inferior species. Admiral, Sarah's tactical officer, reported, Vorthic reinforcements are jumping in system. Their fleet now outnumbers us 3-1. Understood, Admiral Martinez replied calmly. All ships, execute Protocol 7. Across the human fleet, ships began to move with perfect coordination. They didn't retreat or seek cover. Instead, they formed a sphere around the Vorthic homeworld, each vessel exactly positioned to create an overlapping field of fire that covered every possible escape route. It was a formation that sacrificed tactical advantage for symbolic purpose. Humans had not come to win a battle. They had come to make a statement. In the council chamber, Zefkar was openly trembling now. We tried to negotiate. We offered reparations, territory, trade agreements. The human ambassador's response was 3 words. Siltara sends regards. The council members exchanged glances. They were beginning to understand the true scope of what was happening. The humans researched our entire history, Zefkar continued. They know every world we've conquered, every species we've enslaved, every act of cruelty we've committed over the past 2 millennia. But they only care about one thing, what we did to their friends. Counselor Brixman leaned forward. Surely they can be reasoned with. Every species has committed acts they later regret. But galaxy requires compromise. I said the same thing to their Admiral Martinez, Zefkar replied. He told me that humans have a saying, we judge ourselves by our intentions, but others by their actions. He said that our intentions no longer matter. Only our actions do. The holographic display shifted to show the current battle formation. The human fleet hung in space like a net of stars, beautiful and terrible. They're not here to conquer us, Zefkar whispered. They're here to make sure that every species in the galaxy knows what happens when you harm someone under human protection. Even someone they befriended 4 decades before either species had left their home systems. The battle, when it came, was swift and decisive. The Vorthic fleet was larger and better armed, but they fought with the desperation of those who knew they were already defeated. The humans fought with something far more dangerous, the certainty of those who believed their cause was just. When the last Vorthic ship fell silent, Admiral Martinez opened a channel to the surviving worlds of the Vorthic Empire. To all Vorthic colonies and territories, his voice carried across subspace, reaching every inhabited world in their former empire. Your government's crimes against the Kefmori people have been answered. Your homeworld and fleet are no more. Your colonies may govern themselves as they see fit, but remember this day. Remember that humanity does not forget those who help us. And remember that our gratitude can indeed shake worlds. In the council chamber, Zefkar finished his plea with the resignation of one who had already lost everything. The humans kept their promise, he said quietly. David Chun swore that humanity would never forget Siltara's kindness. Today, that promise destroyed an empire. I am the last ambassador of a dead civilization, and I stand before you as proof of a simple truth. When humans give their word, the universe itself bends to honor it. The council sat in stunned silence as the holographic display showed human ships departing Vorthic space, their mission complete. They had not conquered or colonized. They had simply erased a threat to the memory of an old friend. From that day forward, The galaxy learned a new rule. Be very careful how you treat those who call humans friend. For humanity's memory is long, their gratitude is fierce, and their promises can shake the very foundations of worlds.